What's up, fam? Happy Friday to you. It's the Broke Capitalist coming at you. Hey, if you get anything out of this, like, share, and subscribe, put the notification bells on so that whenever my mug comes up on the internet, you'll be notified. Today, we're going to be talking about femininity. Somewhat, and that'll lead into masculinity too, but mainly femininity. And this is the start of the show. I'm going to show a little bit of this and come back to it, okay?
Well, okay. So the follow-up question to that would be, that's the kind of man you would like to have, you just don't like that aspect.
Well, I would say this. I'm 41, right? So when I listen to the women, when I was in the 30s, when I heard the girls from up here, they remind me of myself because I was like, he got to have a lot of money. He got to take care of all the bills. That's what I was on. And I run in those circles. But what I've learned is a lot of those men just couldn't be faithful. So,
all right. Now, the reason is I often say, I don't know this lady, not trying to bash her or nothing. I'm not even concerned with the content of what she said. And we'll get back to what I am trying to point out later. But if you've been here this week, I've been talking about this thing on the screen, a list of what I think has happened to America and why we're basically attending America's funeral. Sorry, call it black pill if you want to, but I went from blue to red, and now black is just, maybe that's where I'm at. But it's logical. It is backed up by facts. So what I want to start with is what I've been starting with is, what is success to you? What does that mean to you? Right? And I'm going to go out on a long limb, or a really short one, and say that whatever success means to you, it probably didn't have that same meaning to someone born in the early 1900s, right? Just simply because the premise, the foundation of the value system was different back then. Back then, it was more about what you could accomplish, what you can produce, right? As opposed to now, what you can consume, what you can buy, right? The value system was a lot different. So if I ask somebody in 1945, what is success to you? Their answer is based off of a value such as individual freedom and individual responsibility, and a reality. Their answers are based off a reality that life is hard and often unfair. Now, if I ask someone today, more often than not, especially if they're younger than me, right? Their value system isn't based on that. This is, life is hard, individual freedom, individual responsibility. That perfectly aligns with capitalism, right? A merit-based system. Today, capitalism is evil. It is synonymous with greed somehow, like socialist. Then you don't have greedy socialists or greedy communists. But anyway, younger people today, Gen X on down. I don't think this would apply to baby boomers, but Gen X on down, I think a lot of people, their answers will be based off of, it's not individual responsibility, individual freedom, life is hard, equal opportunity. It wouldn't be based off that. It would be based off of equal outcome, right? They don't believe in equal opportunity. They don't believe in equal outcomes. And what has that led to? Tell you. But before we get to that, I'm going to tell you something else, which is, I'm going to just remind you that in 1971, the U.S. took its currency off of the gold standard. So our currency is no longer backed by gold. And you're like, Andre, what you talking about? Well, what that allows the government to do is to basically print money. So around 1971, the government started printing money for a lot of social programs, a lot more social programs. Now, back in 1931, before 1931, I don't think we even had any social programs. Everything was off of charity. But now in 40 years later, like 31 to 71, now you got the money. The government has a green light to just print money for all type of social programs, which include welfare. So that's how you get the welfare state, which also includes Planned Parenthood. And the combination of that just destroyed the Black family, right? You can't tell me, because I've been around, that the Black family is better today than it was in 1971. It's just not, right? What has changed? Black people still Black. We still in America, right? What has changed is a lot of what made America great. This notion that we are free, but we are responsible. That has been taken away. Everybody is a victim now. It's not your fault now, and you don't have any responsibility. So back in, like, say, 68, when little Jill was hanging out with little Johnny, she knew, well, if we mess around and we make a little Johnny Jr., we got to get married, because I'm going to be ostracized in the community, and my dad will probably bring a shotgun and put it up to Johnny's neck, right? So that required a lot more responsibility in a woman's decision-making process and in a man's decision-making process. Because he probably wasn't worried about, well, if I knock her up, I'm gonna have to pay child support. Nah, he worried about her dad with a shotgun. A little different, right? So the effect of that is what we have now, right? The intent of these government programs were, you shouldn't have to worry about a deadbeat dad. We're gonna force him to pay child support. And if he don't pay, we're gonna send him to jail. Don't even worry about any type of responsibility for your own actions. You know what I mean? Like, there's the abortion question, right? Well, I should have the right. It's my body, it's my choice, right? Yeah, it was your choice to sleep with this dude, right? Now I ain't talking about the 0.1% or 1% of people who involuntarily got pregnant, right? I'm specifically talking about women who use abortions as a contraceptive, right? Be responsible. They don't need to be responsible. All they need is a couple of hundred. I don't know how much abortions cost, but all they need is some money to get an abortion, right? Now, if I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, I'm not a woman, I'm not identifying as a woman, but if women who accidentally got pregnant, right, but didn't have to worry about financially supporting that child, I'm gonna say 9 out of 10. I'm gonna go on a limb. 9 out of 10 probably had a kid. If take the financial stress out of the equation from birth till the day you die as a grandmother. Like, it doesn't matter, right? Well, that's impossible today. It's impossible. The fact that if you get married to a man today, have a kid on purpose, both of you guys got to work to support all three of you. Whereas in 1969, if Jill married Johnny and had Johnny Jr. and 7 other kids, Johnny could go work at a factory and support all y'all. But since we've taken $1 off of the gold standard, inflation has run them up. And so now Johnny needs 2 jobs just to support himself. He can't afford Jill, and he damn sure can't afford Junior. And so now when Jill gets knocked up by Johnny, she feels trapped. Like, I can't take care of myself. Johnny can't take care of himself. We got to get rid of the baby. And then everybody's mad at Jill, right? How dare you kill this baby, right? And Johnny's like, look, I don't want this kid. I can't afford myself. Like, get rid of it. But nobody's looking at the fact that The money. Look at the money, right? Now, what does this have to do with femininity? Well, around that time, 1970s, 60s, 70s, the feminist movement, whatever, we want equality, all this stuff. First wave femininity, I don't know exactly when that started, but this current wave just lost it. Man, y'all done lost y'all mind. But here's the trick, man. In the 70s, they sold this dream or this, y'all feminists got duped. They started telling you that living at home, living at home, work and supporting your family, your husband, your kids was akin to slavery. They tricked you into going to work for total strangers in corporate America to help make shareholders who you will never meet more money. You got sold a dream. Not even a dream. That's just fraud. You got duped. Let's just admit it. The best way to right this wrong is to admit it. You got duped, right? You got the right to vote and you got the right to go work anywhere you want to. That doesn't mean everybody should have just left the house and started working outside the home. Now, if you are a woman, you want to run your own business, I'm all for it, support you 100%. However, that should not be the norm, right? It's like saying, hey, my boy want to stay at home with his kids and raise his boys, stay with him all the time. I support that 100%. Should that be the norm that all men stay at home? No, right? No. So how do we get here? Where now on the internet, you got all these videos about like with kevinSamuels, it sounds like he's bashing women, but he's coming from a good place, saying, look, y'all need to wake up. You're not valuable in the sexual marketplace. And what's the feedback? Well, I got a degree. I make six figures. How come he can't make six figures? Right. That's typically what you hear. And then Pearly Things, I'm just mentioning her because she's a white young lady. And she's kind of saying the same thing, but more so directed at America in general. Like, hey, you 250 pounds, 5'1", for some reason you got an OnlyFans thing going on. No one's going to wife you. Why not? That ain't fair. He body shaming, blah, blah, blah. Look, y'all being sold a bunch of goods, man. You need to wake up. And I said something the other day. I know it sounds like I'm ranting, but it all come together. I said the last time I interacted with a woman in America that just oozed femininity was in 1989 in North Carolina. Just get that statement. 1989 in North Carolina. Does that mean every woman I've ever interacted with was acting like a bunch of men? No. What I'm saying is the person I interacted with wasn't weak, wasn't super submissive. We weren't in a relationship. We interacted for like 5 minutes and stayed with me for my life, right? We're the same age. I was in college. She was in college. Same age, same level, college students. But she just oozed this femininity that is so rare in this country. It's like innocent children. We don't have innocent children in this country. Look, they got children at drag shows. Back in the day, we were complaining about men taking their kids to Hooters. Now you got two men taking their son to drag shows and having them be, having cocks thrust at them. Like, what is going on, man? How did we get here? So, thanks you guys for those who connect with me at thebrokecapitalist.com. Someone sent me an email regarding what I just said. I haven't seen in America a feminine woman that I hadn't interacted with, someone that just oozed femininity. Of course, I've dealt with feminine women. right? I'm in a relationship with a woman I consider feminine, but not to the degree of this person. It's not a bash on anybody else. I'm just saying, this society has crushed femininity, and in the Black community, it's gone. It's done. It ain't there no more. It's a museum piece, and to show you what we've lost, I'm not feminine, so I'm gonna try and show you what I mean, and hopefully this translates, right? So remember her.
So then I learned, well, that's my deal breaker. Faithfulness is my deal breaker. So I've been blessed.
So the question I have then is, because I hear what you're saying, but then I also like, that sounds good.
Okay.
Because you 41 years old, married, any kids?
Nope, I froze my eggs though, so I got a safety net just in case.
So you're accustomed to a certain standard of life.
This is true.
And if a man is making the median of what a Black man is making, $42,500, he can't afford your standard of life.
So is that my problem?
Yeah, it's your problem. You 41 years old, you had to freeze your eggs because the guy that she wants exists, right? What's the likelihood of her finding that guy? That's the only thing available and in the same country, let alone the same state, same city. Anyway, I don't care. This isn't about the content of what she's saying. It's how she's saying it, right? Just keep that in mind, and I'm gonna try and make a point here.
The first time I went to Hollywood was 1936.
Did Miss Alina go with you?
No, she didn't go. You see, when two people can't seem to see the same thing the same way, life just gets powerful complicated. You see, honey, this is the living room. Here's your room. And this is the nursery.
Oh, that's swell, Bill. That's about the prettiest little house I ever saw. But not for us.
Why not for us?
I don't know why not for us. We show people on the road day in and day out. We don't have time to live in a house like that.
Sure, that's the way it's been up until now, honey. But you see...
No, but Bill, we've been over this 1,000 times.
I know, but since I've got that Hollywood contract, we'll have plenty of money. And you won't have to go on working. You can quit.
Yeah.
Sure, you work long enough. It's time that you settle down. And we have a home and...
I don't want to quit. I'd be happy unless I went on with my work, just like you. Singing's in my blood.
I'm sorry, Selena. I just thought maybe you'd see it different now.
Bill, I'm afraid I'll never see it differently. Never. I'm sorry.
Now they're literally arguing. And granted, this is a movie. Again, I don't care about the content. Yes, she's acting, but this is a typical representative of a woman back in the 40s. She's not aggressive, right? There's something aggressive about her. And she's a pretty woman. She's 41, whatever she did. I'd date her if I wasn't in a relationship, yeah. But she's aggressive. There's an aggression there. There's this strength that you don't see here. Now, it's a movie, so I was like, let me see if we can catch her in real life, like just being interviewed somewhere. Okay.
And the toast of 3 continents, the lovely Lena Horne.
I'm fine, Jack. How are you?
Fine, and as per usual, you really look terrific. You're all decked out in your new Paris clothes, and unfortunately, we still don't have color.
I wouldn't fly today.
You are beautiful. Let's see, we have vermilion, a shade of green, a beautiful pronoun, and I ever got a surprise for you.
What? What's that?
We'll one up on you. Your new book just came out. Lena Horne in person is called, I think it's written by Courtney Moore.
Yes, that's right.
And one of the reporters have a copy of it on board that they brought on with them.
Well,
You're going to get to see it for the very first time.
Wonderful. It sounds kind of funny, but I've never seen the finished book. I'd love to have it.
It's actually your biography, the story of your career to date.
Well, yes, up to now.
Up to now. Where did it all start? Back in Brooklyn?
Yes, in Brooklyn. Yes, in Brooklyn, and my children are in it, I think. And, well, I'm anxious to see it because, you know, these very nice friends of mine that wrote the book sort of lived with me for 3 or 4 years, and I never was conscious of actually telling them anything about myself, but I'd like to know what other people really think I'm like, you know.
Probably within the body of the book, we have one wonderful anecdote of Lena Horne. I wonder if you could think of one that might be in there, like this.
Well, I don't know. Most of them sort of happen in Brooklyn, you know, like the day that they gave a Lena Horne Day for me. And, of course, we're like that in Brooklyn, you know. We have...
Hopefully that's enough. There's something, again, she's an actress, whatever. There's something pleasant about her. There's no aggression there, right? And I know the other girl is trying to make her point, like this girl. I know this is somewhat in a debate setting, but you know, if you were at a restaurant with her and you were just talking about anything, she would come off aggressive. And if she wouldn't, I'd be surprised. The norm now is for women to be more leaning heavily toward masculinity, and femininity is just gone. Now, Kevin stays in his lane pretty much. It's always about the African-American community. And like I said, Pearl or Pearly Things, go check them out. It's kind of about Western society because now she's in England doing her thing. But you guys may know I lived in Japan. So I wanted to give you guys an example of femininity outside of America. And you will recognize it without even being able to understand it, understand the words, basically. So here we go. I hope.
僕はその友達になってもいいですか？え？ああ、いや、お友達に気を使っていたみたいなので、僕でよかったな、なんて。ああ、いいですよ。え？こちらこそ、お願いします。それって、OK ってことですか？はい。本当は昨日言ってもらいたかったんですけど。え？実は、パマかけてたんです。
Now, this is one of my favorite Japanese dramas. Funny, hilarious, whatever. But the reason I wanted to show this to you is because she represents, now it's changing in Japan too, but because of this, for the same reasons it's changed here, inflation, right? You have more and more women going into the workplace, forcing more and more women to take on masculine traits to compete in the workplace. But this is still the typical Japanese woman, soft-spoken, pleasant, right? Now, just to show that just because you're a Japanese woman, that don't mean you're subservient, right? Trust me. I'm gonna give you another example of Japanese woman.
そうですか？私がランチに付き合ってあげるぐらいなんだから。僕も驚きましたよ。まさかエレベーターで。あんなのただの挨拶だって。ハグ。ハグあんた言っちゃうけど内緒だからね。それさ、部長と対立して派閥でさ、まあとりあえず出世頭だから。もう切っちゃったんですか？まあね。どうでしたか？なんかよかったよ。熱い感じ。そうでしたもんね。まあ見て。僕も頼めばよかったな。本格的な。はい？ああ、そっちの話？何の話だと思うんですか？これ食べな。狙ってる女とはもうやったの？なんだ、なんか。そんなこと。いくら外見変わってもあんたの場合、いい友達で終わる可能性高そうだもんね。やっぱりそうですかね。まあ、魅力的な趣味があれば別だけど。ごちそうさま。
Now, there's a lot going on in that little scene. But she goes from laughing to being upset and mean. She broke the chopsticks. She was a little aggressive, right? So it's not just because you're Japanese, you're just always like this little petite flower, right? No. The point is, unfortunately, in the Black community, this has become the norm. Very aggressive women, right?
See, it's the reality of the world. See, what happens far too often, especially in our communities, Black women wait too long to get married. You wait till you're too old, you wait till you have too much experience, and your experience and your income has gone up, and that is inversely proportional to your sexual marketplace value.
And why is that? It's because we've all been sold a bunch of BS because our inflation. I say it all the time. 1975, you can buy a Snickers, a pop, a soda pop, a bag of chips, 25 pieces of penny candy for $1. Walk out with that's what all you needed was $1. Today, you can't buy any of that for $1, right? This is in one lifetime. So over the course of 40, 50 years, you've gone from a man being able to support a family of 5 or 6, right? And his wife being able to be a wife, be supportive, take care of the house and home, right? We've gone from that to taking away individual responsibility so that she doesn't have to really think super hard about getting pregnant. If she does, there's no consequences because she can either give welfare checks or she can just kill a baby, right? This is where we're at. It's over, man. It's over. There's a statistic I saw, by 2030, 45% of all women in this country will be single and childless. 45%. That's only 7 years from now. We won't even be able to reproduce. That's why I said it's over. So I'm looking at how do we come out of the ashes? I want to identify the main problem. Everything always goes back to money. Inflation, although you probably never thought about it, has disrupted the family unit. Inflation has allowed the government to expand social programs, which has taken away individual responsibility, that thought. And it's allowed many of us to put consumption before production, right? So they dangle this pretty thing called materialism in front of you, have you chase that for your self-worth, right? Which helps the economy. Well, not yours, not your family's economy. It just helps some rich shareholder somewhere that you don't know. That's what that does. That's what consumption does, right? But when you have a different mindset and you're worried about, or you're concerned about, what have I accomplished? What can I produce? And if you're a woman, if you're concerned with what can he accomplish, what can he produce, you're more likely to stick with him from the beginning when he doesn't have a lot of money and grow with him until he does have a lot of money. And because men really, 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 really value loyalty, stay with you. You got you a man until you're old and gray and you die off together, right? But if you want to be like the example A here, who does everything society told her to do, don't worry about no man, get your own, go off to school, get a business. Oops, you're 30, now you'll be a geriatric pregnancy, better freeze those eggs. Got the eggs frozen, still single as far as I know. Now that young guy on the grind with all that potential, all that, ambition, who wants to accomplish something, create something, he's not looking for you. He's looking for someone younger. It's just nature. but they sold us a good and just destroyed our community. The Black community went first. Now the rest of America's going with it. So like I said, this is the Black pill. It's over. It's done. But what we need to do is stop blaming each other. Brothers need to stop yelling and blaming sisters. Sisters need to stop yelling and blaming brothers. Everybody's mad in the wrong direction. You need to stop, think about it, look at your government and how they have destroyed the policies that have destroyed the Black community are the same policies that has destroyed America. And with that, hey, it's Friday. I hope this isn't too dark for you, but let me know what you think. I'm hoping that I was able to get that femininity thing across. Again, I'm not dissing this young lady, pretty lady. I just feel sad for her because the likelihood of her, statistics say the likelihood of her finding a man, getting married, having kids, being 75 years old with grandchildren around her, far and few, but I mean, it's just not likely. It's not likely. It's just not. And for the dude in the same situation, he's 41, single, never got married. He don't care. Like, he don't care. He can take care of himself. If he's 68 years old at home by himself and hear that at the front door, he ain't tripping. But if she's 68 by herself and hear that at the front door at 2 in the morning, right? If anything, a man is there to provide and protect. And in today's inflationary economy, it's very difficult. They've made it extremely difficult for your average man to provide for himself, let alone his family. So stop yelling and screaming at each other and start yelling and screaming at the policymakers that's effing with your money. All right, and with that, I'm out. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. Peace. I'm out.
I just wanted to remind you guys to check out thebrokecapitalist.com. You'll find some awesome books there, including a historical fantasy fiction series that I star in, called Ideas in Blood.